CBS News Philadelphia is celebrating Pride. You're about to meet the trailblazers who set the stage for generations to come.
For many in Philadelphia, she is the mother of the LGBTQ rights movement.
They had courage to stand up for their authentic selves.
I was the only one in my classes that had LGBTQ parents.
Pride is families planning for the next generation.
Family is whatever you make it.
Neighborhoods embracing the LGBTQ community.
New Hope is where people raise their children to be accepting.
I can't imagine that most people wouldn't include Rehoboth in somewhere in that list of the gay meccas in the United States.
And shining the light on Philly Pride.
Something about Philly, the energy's right here.
CBS News Philadelphia celebrates generations of pride.
Thanks for joining us for this CBS News Philadelphia special, Generations of Pride. I'm Jim Donovan.
And I'm Howard Monroe. We're going to bring you stories of how pride shines through our neighborhoods. We are here in the Gayborhood, the heart of the gay community here in Philadelphia.
And here at the corner of 13th and Locust, you'll find this colorful street sign honoring one of the first gay pioneers, Barbara Gittings. Born in 1932, Gittings was an instrumental figure not only in the LGBTQ civil rights movement here in Philadelphia, but across the country.
And today, you can learn about Gittings through a tour that showcases her legacy. Here's CBS News Philadelphia reporter Josh Sanders.
If you look at the very top, you can see the two original row homes.
Rebecca Fisher enjoys retracing footprints of history where American democracy took its first steps.
1755 by Benjamin Franklin. And
she reminds people of stories that often go untold in the city of brotherly love, leading her and her co-founder to create a series of Beyond the Bell tours.
It was on the 4th of July in 1965, and it was called the Annual Reminder.
One of those tours is the Badass Women's Tour, a love letter to Philadelphia women like Barbara Gittings.
Barbara Gittings, for many in Philadelphia, is the mother of the LGBTQ rights movement because she stages the very first picket protest for LGBTQ rights here in Philadelphia outside of the Liberty Bell on the 4th of July.
From 1965 to 1969, Gittings picketed outside Independence Hall against employment discrimination by the federal government towards the LGBTQ+ community, 4 years before the New York City Stonewall riots in June of 1969.
It is taking place on the 4th of July to remind people that not everybody in America has their civil liberties. She has everybody dressed the way they dress for work because she wants to show how ready for work the queer community is.
She was a maverick.
Mark Siegel is the founder of Philadelphia Gay News and was at the Stonewall riots, befriending Gittings in 1969.
I think she was a very brave woman. In 1965 through 69, doing those marches outside Independence Hall, just standing up and saying, I'm a lesbian, was amazing. They were the only 100 out people in all of America. Then Stonewall happens. And throughout that next year, people were organizing. 1 year later, 15,000 people came out to march.
Gittings' activism did not stop outside Independence Hall.
Her next piece of activism is the declassification of homosexuality as a mental illness.
In 1972, she and a coalition from Philadelphia, including gay psychiatrist John Fryer, traveled to Texas, advocating for the American Psychiatric Association to remove homosexuality as a mental illness. It was removed as a mental disorder the following year.
Symptoms that you see in your gay patients are not a result of their sexuality, but how people treat gay people.
Barbara Gittings' Way now marks the intersection of Locust and 13th Streets in Philadelphia's Gayborhood, and a mural of her annual reminder protest is on the side of the William Way LGBT Community Center. Her legacy is one of equality, beyond the bell that still rings today. Josh Sanders, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Philadelphia is often known as a city of neighborhoods, each with its own character and charm. We caught up with one married couple who helped transform the Gayborhood into the place it is today.
Walk down 13th Street in Center City on a nice night and things are hopping. Tables are filled, bar stools are occupied, but it wasn't always that way.
There was nothing really on this block.
It was definitely the red light district.
Yeah, it was in the day you're fine, but in the night it was questionable.
The year was 2002 when Valerie Safran, a former Spanish teacher, and Marcy Turney, a professional chef, unknowingly became pioneers.
We were young and yes, pioneers.
Yeah, definitely.
Opening a home and gift shop on 13th Street that they aptly named Open House.
This is the only neighborhood we could afford at that time.
Little did they know that Open House would open doors and help start the transformation of a desolate neighborhood into what's now trendy Midtown Village, more commonly known as the Gayborhood.
It was a gamble.
At one point, their landlord offered some good advice.
For neighborhoods, you need restaurants. That will bring the people. If there's good food, good service, people will come, and then the retail will follow.
Over the course of 2 decades, the couple have opened a string of successful restaurants and shops between Chestnut and Locust Streets. Among them, Verde, Little Nona's, Barbuzzo, Bud Marilyn's, and Darling Jack's.
I think we worked, I don't know how many months straight, and we didn't take a day off. That's like crazy. This is your dream, what you have to do to make it happen.
We worked a lot.
Marcy leads the culinary team for their restaurants. Valerie heads up all front of house operations and is the retail buyer. The key to their success?
I think our shops and restaurants are all very accessible. They're not high-end, they're, we're pretty easygoing people, so I think it's a comfortable place to be.
They're a dynamic duo that made an impact in the Gayborhood.
We're in the right place, no question.
Ahead, a local gay couple on the path to starting a family, and their journey to parenthood starts with artwork.
You asked, why do you want to be parents? And I don't have an answer. It's just something that I've wanted.
You'll also meet a comedian giving hope to kids with same-sex parents.
I'm gonna be vulnerable with you guys. I have 2 moms. You're supposed to cheer if you're not homophobic! Like, what the hell?
You'll hear their message to the next generation of same-sex families.
Welcome back. We're standing at Tavern on Camac near 12th and Latimer. This bar and restaurant has been in the Gayborhood for 20 years and is a major hub during the annual Philadelphia Pride Festival. The designer of this year's logo is an artist working with his husband to raise money to start a family. CBS News Philadelphia reporter Waukesha Bailey shares their mission.
There is actual home video footage of me being asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? And my response is, I want to be a mummy.
Originally from England, graphic designer artist Ben Dean Sherlow invited us into his South Philadelphia home he shares with his husband Frank.
And take my eyes off you.
The two have been together for 14 years while married for 2.
When we started dating, gay marriage was not legal nationwide.
Love has helped them overcome many hurdles, and now their hope is to become parents. The two are going to need an embryo, a surrogate, and money.
Minimum, it'll cost about $80,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
As luck would have it, a lesbian couple recently donated an embryo to Ben and Frank. Now they are on a waiting list to find a surrogate. They've gotten creative with a baby fund.
My husband and I are really using this business to help fund our goals of becoming parents.
Last year, Ben created the graphic tee company That's Barely Art. The humorous and provocative t-shirts have been selling out.
My favorite reaction is when someone walks past, sees a shirt, and bursts out laughing.
Ben's designs are sold online and at festivals. Philadelphia's Pride organizers asked him to design the 2024 logo, Be You.
There's been so many times in my life where I have felt like I'm not queer enough or I don't belong.
But both have held true to the mantra, Be You. On the horizon, becoming dads.
We so clearly want them and are so excited for when we finally get to meet them.
And bring them to a home filled with love and special lullabies.
Suddenly see more.
Suddenly see more. Waukesha Bailey, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Growing up in Narberth with 2 gay parents was a challenge for M. Harnett. Now, making people laugh has made a difference for people with same-sex parents. CBS News Philadelphia reporter Eva Anderson has their optimism for the future.
If a haircut helps somebody so much, shouldn't, hair salons take insurance?
M. Harnett has always lived for the spotlight.
You guys take Blue Cross Blue Shield here? I'm really in need of some care.
I was a very flamboyant child. I wore my sunglasses. I felt like a star.
But when M, who identifies as non-binary, hit grade school, they realized they were in the spotlight for a different reason.
I was the only one in my classes that had LGBTQ parents.
M was born in 1995 and grew up in Narberth with 2 moms in a loving household. But at the time, they discovered not everyone was willing to see that.
3rd grade was the really big realization of oh, people don't like us sometimes.
They remember a difficult play date around age 11.
We're all playing hide and seek, and she goes, "Oh, I'm actually not allowed to hang out with people who have 2 moms. I don't feel welcome here."
Childhood wounds turned them into a thick-skinned teen, soon starting to gently push back with humor.
It was a lot of that's so gay, or saying that, you're weird that you have 2 moms, or I was I'm weird for other reasons, not because I have 2 moms. Excuse me.
Now at age 25 and years after their moms separated, M's putting their upbringing back in the spotlight.
So I have 2 moms.
In their stand-up routines, reclaiming the negative parts of their childhood and elevating the humorous ones.
Then they started telling me about their issues. I have some daddy issues, apparently. Can't relate.
M finds comedy on the dating scene, too.
I am a donor-conceived child, and so that means I have a lot of donor siblings because I have an anonymous donor. When you're on a first date, you kind of say, do you know who your dad is?
M says their mom, who they're closest with, Pat, has showed M how to live with love, even towards those who may not have understood their family.
It really comes down to her thoughtfulness. I think that embodies who she is.
Now, M hopes kids with queer parents can look up to M and others like them.
They can see, wow, there are people that are like me in this world. We are here, we are adults now, and we are living life successfully.
To see there's a life ahead with hope, humor, and a whole lot of pride. Eva Anderson, CBS News Philadelphia.
Philly pride isn't confined to the Gayborhood or even the city of Philadelphia.
Generations of the LGBT community, they are celebrating their true selves all around our region.
Everybody, gay, straight, whatever. But we all respect each other and take care of each other and watch out.
For more than 2 decades, New Hope has been taking their pride celebration to a whole new level. We'll show you how the town embraces its LGBTQ community, plus this.
It is only 1 square mile, but Rehoboth Beach has become a mecca for the gay community. We are taking a look back at the beach town's history and how it has become a more inclusive place to visit.
Welcome back to Philadelphia's Gayborhood. For generations, many people in the gay community have been making Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, their spot for a summertime getaway. But it wasn't always that way. CBS News Philadelphia reporter Ryan Hughes shows us how the town has been welcoming visitors for generations.
Known for its extraordinary entertainment, dancing, and drag dinner theater, its mile-long boardwalk bursting with eclectic shops and restaurants, Rehoboth Beach is not only a popular getaway for families, but it's long been a booming mecca for the LGBTQ+ community.
I can't imagine that most people wouldn't include Rehoboth in somewhere in that list of the gay meccas in the United States.
But the Rehoboth of today is far from how the town first started. Rehoboth was founded in the 1870s as a Methodist meeting camp.
And about the 60s, a bunch of gay people started drifting into this area.
A popular meeting place was the Pink Pony. Historian and gay rights activist Faye Jacobs says Rehoboth started to become a gay enclave during a time when homosexuality was not legal.
So there were dinner parties in homes with the shades drawn, and they didn't call attention to themselves.
Then the Blue Moon opened on Baltimore Avenue in 1981, a gay bar and safe haven.
The town was getting gayer and gayer by the moment. I mean, there were people coming from all over.
By the 1990s, many longtime residents felt the quaint beach town was being taken over with the influx of gay people. That tension led to Murray Archibald co-founding Camp Rehoboth with his late husband, a resource center for the gay community. Its mission in the name, creating a more positive Rehoboth.
That's sort of been our goal all along, that we're all welcome here.
Rehoboth Beach has always been a getaway for beachgoers from Washington, D.C., Baltimore, New York, and of course, Philadelphia. Today, visitors from all over the country come here to what is now known as the nation's summer capital.
We just all are absolutely integrated and in the community of diversity.
Today, there are scores of gay-owned businesses, and Rehoboth is a place to feel comfortable in your own skin. Camp Rehoboth says the small resort town is still a family town, but for all kinds of families. In Rehoboth Beach, Ryan Hughes, CBS News Philadelphia.
New Hope is another popular Pride destination. It's been referred to as the Bubble, a safe haven for the LGBTQ community.
New Hope is where people raise their children to be accepting. Everybody else is a day, maybe a weekend. This tiny little 1 mile square town, we do a whole week. I mean, that's amazing.
New Hope celebrates 21 years of Pride, and this year, I was proud to serve as Grand Marshal. The town lights up with every color of the rainbow. I love you! And just as colorful are the queens. Drag queens have been a staple for decades, known for strutting the streets as far back as World War II.
Always line your lip. It makes it look bigger.
Pumpkin is one of the originals.
I have the gay planet with all the gay rings.
She's seen New Hope Pride flourish.
I don't know, pearls, Geritol's pearls. Flamingo was Mother Cavalucci's actually. It's all blur. Like the first year, my first little float I led on literally a lawnmower tractor trailer.
The now 2-week-long celebration takes place every May in honor of the late Mother Cavalucci, a Pride trailblazer.
She was the one that raised us all. There is no generational gap here.
We've had a lot of different artists that have come through the area. So it's really been a welcoming area, even if you look at the name of the town of New Hope, right?
In 2014, the parade expanded.
And that was the year for marriage equality, right?
Into its sister town, Lambertville, New Jersey.
There is no feeling like the feeling of coming over the bridge down into town. It's such a sense of pride, honestly, and every year it gets me.
We just really want to make sure that we're telling everyone to keep yelling, keep talking, keep bringing it up, because pride is important.
It's about generations from the past.
So now here's the second generation, and they're like, go see Miss Pumpkin, go see Grandma.
Passing the torch.
Come with open eyes, open arms, and an open heart. We fight over the color you paint your door, not on who you are. So everyone is welcome.
And from strutting the stages here in New Hope, this queen is now soaring. Sapphira Cristal was Miss New Hope Celebrates, and now she's in the national limelight.
I have said all the time, if people are afraid of drag, they're afraid of freedom.
How Sapphira Cristal is breaking barriers through her art. And welcome back to Philadelphia's Gayborhood. We're standing in front of one of the most iconic LGBTQ places in the area.
This is Giovanni's room. It is the oldest gay continuously operated bookstore in the United States and is a community pillar. Take a look inside. Giovanni's room is more than 50 years old, founded back in 1973, but there's more than just books. In 2014, Philly Aids Thrift expanded it to include clothing and housewares. Now to a performer who's making history of her own. She is her true self. She's an educator and stands up for the Black LGBTQ plus community.
Sapphira Cristal may not have won this season of RuPaul's Drag Race, but she's become an icon here in Philly. CBS News Philadelphia's reporter Josh Sanders shows us how she's now inspiring younger generations to express themselves.
From fantasy to reality.
How long does the process take for you to the full fantasy?
The full fantasy, probably about an hour, maybe 2 hours.
Sapphira Cristál is the self-proclaimed jewel of the city she's called home for the last 10 years.
Something about Philly, the energy's right here. It makes you feel like you're a part of something.
She's the first queen to represent Philadelphia on the main stage of RuPaul's Drag Race since the show's humble beginnings in 2009.
I auditioned for Drag Race 11 times, so...
Along the way, introducing a national audience to her classically trained voice as a bona fide opera singer with a 6-octave range.
I am very in the moment when I'm on stage. I am paying attention to what I'm performing, especially when lip syncing to somebody else's words, but can you tell a story while you do it? Can you bring them on a journey? And that's kind of my goal. Let's go on this journey together.
And on this journey, she's moved by Philly's love.
My mother last night said, my 3 sons were all Eagles fans, and right now they're Sapphira fans. Straight men are going to watch Drag Race because there's some Philly representation.
But that support isn't the reality for many queens across the country, with the political lightning rod of anti-drag bills attacking drag performers and seeking to ban the art form.
I've said all the time, if people are afraid of drag, they're afraid of freedom. Drag is probably the most free art form. You can do whatever you want.
It is that freedom she hopes to keep bringing to the forefront for generations throughout Pride.
Pride means complete freedom. It means being happy just to be you. This Pride, I'm hoping, represents a new birth of celebrating all people who they are, not who you want them to be.
Josh Sanders, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Earlier this spring, Philadelphia council members honored Sapphira for standing up for those who have been under attack for being their true selves.
And before we leave you, we want to bring you back full circle to the woman who helped pave the way for future generations of Pride.
Barbara Gittings is showcased here in the Pride in Progress mural in the Gayborhood. The project was completed by the Philadelphia Mural Arts Program back in 2003 here on Juniper Street. Thanks again for joining us as CBS News Philadelphia celebrates generations of Pride.